with that said, take a look at the map veto and see which maps we're going to play on in this best of one series. And of course, Coastline and Clubhouse are the two auto-banned maps in the series. Bank, Villa, Consulate, and Oregon removed. Then we're going to go to Border. So we get Oregon and Border. We're going to have Consulate for Game 3. That'll really round it out.
That will.
Consulate or Clubhouse for Game 3?
Yeah, it takes me back. Takes me back to the olden days of the non-stop repetitive cycle of the same maps over and over
Border,
again.
Oregon, Border, Oregon, Border, Oregon. And it's interesting because I talked to Kix about this quite a while ago, but it's like, yeah, for a while, just nobody wanted to play Border.
Yeah, and Border's an interesting map for EXG. We saw them play Border against Rogue. I believe it was the first play day back from the break from SI. And it was a game which, yeah, it was Rogue went up 3-0, then EXG stormed back 3 rounds in a row, and then Rogue just kind of ran away with it.
Yep.
So they have some recent history, some recent VODs available for Border. Let's take a look at the community vote and see what you guys at home are thinking. The disparity in the standings leads me to believe that there's going to be some disparity in the community vote. Wouldn't be at all shocked to see a wide chasm between the numbers on these, and yeah. But 2 weeks ago, there was also a wide chasm between Reciprocity and EXG, and yet EXG prevailed in a show-stopping fashion. So I won't hold any judgments or reservations on EXG heading into this game. I think Pojo has done a lot of work. You know, we talk about communication a lot, and that was one thing he highlighted in his interview after that game against Reciprocity, where he's talking about communications and how he came in and just wanted to revamp that. He didn't want to revamp, you know, what roles players are playing. He didn't want to revamp chemistry between duos and trios on the team. It's more about just getting your point across quicker. And Rainbow Six Siege being an information-based game, as we all well know right now, with this meta we're in, just relaying your information to your teammates faster can make a world of difference, and clearly it did against Reciprocity 2 weeks ago.
And not just in terms of getting the information, relaying it, but really being effective in the way you relay it. You know, call-outs are very important things you need to figure out. Like, I think this is something that a few teams did, which is basically, here's all of our call-outs. Here's what they do is they project that image of the position. Let's say you're playing on half wall on Border.
Yeah.
You project the image of that, and you have to match it like in 1 second to the call out. And you do that over and over and over. You go through every single map. And that, for example, for people that keep asking, like, what's some things you can do as a coach, blah, blah, blah. These sorts of things really, really help because the communication part is on top. Everybody when it comes to Pro League, if you're in Pro League, you're a good aimer, you're a good player. What separates you from the rest is how you can communicate and make sure you can use your skill in the correct position and in the correct situation. So communication is very important. And as we know, this not only affects you in competitively, like in top tier competitive play, but also in your actual like ranked games or whatever at home. Rainbow Six, and you know this more than I do, because you play like 17 hours of ranked every day.
Yeah, it's a living hell.
A brain aneurysm.
It's a lot of fun.
Fair enough. It's a lot of rainbows.
It's a lot of rainbows.
Yes.
Don't touch Mr. Bear. Yeah, the new playlist that came out today. If nobody's seen, it is Air Cute 1. It's a remap of Presidential Plane. I think you guys have a lot of fun trying to protect or rescue Mr. Bear. I was using that voice all day today with Zeronic while we were playing, so it was a good time. My vocal cords got one hell of a stretching out of that. We're still waiting on one player to join the lobby, though. If you're wondering why we're just sitting here talking and not really getting to the game, again, for a refresher for anyone coming in late, it's EXG against DarkZero on Border. We're just waiting on the last member of the lobby to jump in, and then we'll get underway with game number 2. We still have a third game this evening, though, EG against Rise. That's another one that will be interesting. A team that was on a downspin in the first half, kind of bringing it back a little bit in the second half in Rise.
But it hasn't really been that sort of like meteoric rise to top tier. I mean, Rise, they beat Reciprocity, and honestly, from Reciprocity's play right now against Rogue, you're like, there's no way in hell that should have happened. But I don't know. Honestly, that game on Consulate was a great game. Rise outplayed Reciprocity the whole time. It was basically Rise versus Laxing.
Yes. And
very similar to what we had.
for Rise, my thing with them, so they lose 7-5 in the very first week back against SSG on Oregon. That was a very close game. And just in the 2 games they've played, because they obviously had a bye week in between their 2 play days in this second half, and as you mentioned, they beat Reciprocity 7-5 last week. For me, just seeing Rise being able to pick up rounds cohesively and honestly string together some momentum is massive, considering how, and I don't like using this term, but how terrible they looked in the first half. You look at their round differential for the first half, it was one of the worst round differentials through the first half of a Pro League season.
And the only reason you and I are mentioning this is to say that they're actually starting to recover.
Yes.
And that takes a lot of effort and a lot of work, and we want to praise them for the amount of work that they've been putting in. But they're coming up against EG. That's the last game. We'll see. We'll see how long we can hijack the show tonight.
Yeah.
It's a takeover. It's not an NWO like WCW, we're taking this over kind of thing, because I don't think there's enough soy milk here to kind of support Parker and like actually being able to survive this. But it seems like we have some technical issues with some of the players.
Yeah.
So that's why we're waiting. It's not like I love talking about Intero and his soy milk, but waiting. Actually, remember when we went out?
You mention it a lot. For someone who says they don't like talking about Parker and his soy milk, you bring it up an awful lot.
It's not as much as he brings up the topic of, hey, I'm playing on G2 now.
True. Parker is on G2, by the way. If you didn't see the roster move announced,
It's official.
Parker Mackay, the newest member of G2 Esports.
Yeah. Who would have thought that it was that simple for Silver 3 to replace Fabian?
Okay, buddy, you haven't played ranked in like a year.
Well, under. And I was plat without KS carrying.
Okay.
I played like 13 games. I'm like, I don't want, because back then Night Cafe was a thing still. That was awful, isn't it? But it seems like we're going to have a bit of a break because some technical issues with the players and what's going on with them. So you'll have to give us a few minutes and then we'll be back. So don't go anywhere because I'm going to keep him in those 3 hoodies for as long as possible. He's definitely not going to overheat.
It's getting hot. It's getting hot. I'm not going to lie.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Let's go. Get us out of here.
Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are still awaiting an update and a decision on what's going on, so we've been sitting here in the meantime, and as the great casters we are, we have not pressed that S button to get the game going, so
Nope.
It's your fault.
It is my fault. I'm the new guy. I clearly broke everything by putting on too many hoodies. So I do apologize to everyone watching back home that I screwed up someone's wire.
There you
It's
go.
all my fault.
Thank you very much for that very heartfelt apologies.
No worries.
I think that'll be more than enough for Stuart at the end of the day.
Yeah, Stuart. What's up, buddy? Don't take away my job, please. Thank you. Okay, I guess we can continue the conversation we were just having off camera while we were on our break, which was Rogue. And
The fact that Michael
there.
couldn't find an open McDonald's? Or?
I mean, we could talk about that too. Michael
No.
wanted to go to McDonald's and then it was closed, so.
To a... no. I think it's a fast food place.
Okay. Right. No brands. Sorry. Anyway, back to Rogue. Them being mathematically eliminated from making it to LAN.
Yep.
That's significant, honestly, for a team like that. And I mean, the rumors were abound about possible roster changes for that roster for a lot of teams, honestly, in North America.
Yeah, the NA Shuffle Post Invitational was spicy, to say the least.
There was a lot said and not a lot done for various reasons.
Which
So,
actually is a very good reflection of NA Pro League a lot of times.
Jesus.
It's April 1st. Don't worry about it. I can do it tonight, not any other night.
I was
Could
going
be
to say,
biased
you
or
want the
even-
biased caster post coming out again, don't you?
It's fine at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, Parker plays for G2, but nobody pulls out that card for him, so I'm fine.
Oh, wow. We got 5 in.
Was it Schlong you were waiting for?
I believe so.
Always Schlong. It's the Jaeger maze. I don't have to come in here.
Just waiting to see that everybody's ready and there's no tech issues and there's no bugs, and then we might be able to get underway.
No bugs.
Yeah, okay. As few bugs as humanly possible. Hey,
Hey!
getting underway.
It's good. I've never been so happy to not see my face on the screen. I usually am, but not this much. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Border game number 2 of the evening, Accelerate versus DarkZero. We'll start off with our bans. DarkZero on the attacking side. And what will they ban? Is it going to be a Nomad? It's a... Ooh, Buck on board. Hello. This is a fun time.
And
Yeah.
Achieved is upset.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's more of a target ban. DarkZero run BC, right? He is literally Buck incarnate. But at the same time, we're like, nope.
Okay,
Achieved.
but Achieved is right up there with him.
Exactly.
And this is actually a very common ban in Latin America on Border, taking out the Buck. We see it multiple times over. North America, however, very slow to adopt that kind of mentality, and I believe this is the first time we've seen a Buck ban on Border in North America.
Yeah,
I
we
could
see
be
it on
wrong that.
Consulate every now and then, but...
Yeah.
And Pulse, okay. So this leaves us with both Echo and Maestro available. Shields are also very much an option for DarkZero once they get to the attacking side, which is something they are very well known for. So...
Losing the mirror and the pulse could be pretty significant. For me, I want to focus on the attacking bans.
Mm-hmm.
You still have at your disposal Glaz, Nomad.
Black.
Border with a Nomad available, Blackbeard as well. There's a lot at the disposal of the attackers right now versus the defenders. You can still bring a Valkyrie to facilitate the role of a pulse. You can bring a Maestro, try and look through the smoke on the Mira, and try and replace that kind of utility for visibility. Wow. I kind of like the attacking side on this one. EXG not flexing any of those options that we brought up, though.
This is my problem with the setup that happens in NA. It makes things easier. I completely agree. However, I think it's a bit redundant to bring both the Thatcher and the IQ to this situation. The IQ is a response to, if they're going to bring the Echo, we have something to defeat it. That is pretty much foolproof. Very good. However, the Thatcher, yeah, it's going to delete those bandit batteries, but you can do that from below anyways. And even if the pulse is banned, you're going to have to take control of the bottom floor anyways, just to make sure there's nobody roaming from below that's going to C4 you the instant you go into the site. You're bringing a Zofia. Usually, both the Zofia and the IQ would be the two on duty to do that sort of thing. So this is why I think picking Thatcher, whilst it just makes things easier, it's a bit redundant. It doesn't save you much time, and a lot of times it kind of makes teams just forget about some of the essentials, like, ooh, this is a pretty sweet camera actually. But at the same time, it kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but it makes you forget about an essential and just focus, oh, we're going to push in, and so many times you've seen it. Fine. Pulse or not, that C4 from below can be so damaging.
Well, talking about storylines for this game, it's a tale of two entirely different stories for both of these rosters. We saw EXG come in being promoted from Challenger League in Season 8, and then coming into the beginning of Season 9, they looked not wonderful. They make a roster change, though. They add their coach, Thomas, to the main starting five.
It was like
they start
played in
turning
number
around.
2, I think?
Yeah. They started turning around with Thomas, but as of right now, they're mathematically eliminated from possibly making it to land. The biggest difference, though, is that they're still possibly in contention for that relegation spot, the number 7 seed. Nitro Cell will get launched out by Hot and Cold, and it won't do any damage to anyone on EXG. There's a missing Bandit battery on the trip wall, so Crusher angling to try and take this down. The EMP will do a little bit of work as Hot and Cold fills in his missing Bandit battery position, but the other two evaporate from thin air. Jump out there from Jarvis onto AC will drop about half the HP of Achieve off of his life. The stun's coming out from Thomas, but a Bandit trip going to be successful here from Hot and Cold at the narrow finishing millisecond, and he will continue to be a thorn in the side of Excelerate up against the trip wall, and no pressure from the main hallway yet to try and clear him out.
And that's the thing, you're using the Zofia correctly for the job that you want to do with her, which is basically, oh, we're going to stun lock the Bandit, force him away, etc. But in this case, you got the Bandit. That's fine. He dropped off into the hatch. Got the kill off of it. Thomas finds another one onto Mint, and that's the smoke. It's a huge kill. You don't even need to open up the wall at this point. You're just clear to enter. But they kind of forgot about Jarvis in this position. Even though the wall is only half reinforced, it's still going to be more than enough for him to fight through it. Crusher will find one, but the refrag from Nyx directly onto Bio. Now he's coming up those stairs. He'll find another one down in main. It's a 2v2 suddenly. Crusher and Achieve the last two alive on the attack with BC. The Maestro holding it back. Achieve will spot the Jaeger and Nyx moving into the armory, but all you find is just a reinforced wall at the other end. Move in from the balcony and go for the plant. Pre-fire so close to hitting the thermite in the back. Just trying to time this here. They should have point of view directly on it. Just spraying into the back. The grenade will do a tiny bit of damage. It'll come off the diffuser, and Nyx and BC will find a kill each. EXG completely crushed. Round number 1 will go the way of DZ.
That was terrifying there for DarkZero as they were in a 2v4, Nyx and BC were, but Nyx instrumental, 3 kills on the round. And honestly, that was a situation that looked dire at the middle portion of the round for DarkZero. But they're able to battle back. The resiliency, unprecedented. And this is a season that really looks promising for DarkZero together as a squad. Top of NA currently right now. They're now tied in points with Reciprocity, and I'm not aware of who has a tiebreak between those two teams. We obviously did all the math behind the scenes to figure out who the tiebreak between Rogue and Reciprocity, and then Rogue and DarkZero.
So the tiebreak between Reciprocity and DarkZero, I'm actually checking that out as we speak. It's 11-13. So DarkZero has the tiebreak at 2 extra rounds compared to Reciprocity. The first game they played was a 7-5 for DarkZero. The second one was a 6-6 tie. So there you go. That's the information. If you're going to look at EG Reciprocity, they've only played one of their games, and that was a 7-5 for Reciprocity, which means they hold the tiebreak. I think it might be more, I don't know, more correct to think about Reciprocity and EG in this situation if DarkZero actually continue the way they are in this matchup. We'll see by the end of it. We'll crunch those numbers as we go.
Yeah, if DarkZero come away with this win, they will have 23 points, but EG possibly going to come away with a win against Rise later tonight. It's most predicted that that is the outcome, but you never know with the way the Rise is playing.
Yeah.
It'd be at 22 with a game in hand. So
And
technically, there's an advantage to EG, but in just pure points, it's DarkZero still leading the way.
And the beauty of it is that literally any one of those three can make it. Rogue, not anymore, but Space Station are hot on people's heels, and they can still continue to rack up. Obviously, they're not playing today. They're going to play the last 3 days. There's a lot of variables here to look at, and I think playday number 12 and 13 are really going to decide things, and possibly even the very last one. But with DarkZero, back to the game here. With DarkZero having won the very first round on Armory, they're going to go down to Workshop Ventilation. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Tomas is just going to take control of Ventilation, and the ingress from EXG is just going to be, okay, let's take control of the top floor, and then we're going to break open as much of the floorboard as possible. Then we'll go down, and on the flank, Schlongi will find Nyx, operator that, or the player that did so much work in the previous round, and up. Great play from DarkZero, well coordinated from Heart and Cold, and Mint. That'll be, or Jarvis in this situation. That'll be quite a bit of damage done to slow down Excelerate early on.
Questionable death on the side of DarkZero, losing Nyx, your Maestro, so early on, the first pick inside the first minute. Hot and Cold still holding down Armory as he's overhealed himself in anticipation of deaths and stuff and things. So we lose our feed. We don't know what's going on. I imagine the round is still being played out as we're going through everything. So we don't know if that's going to be a rehost and a round canceled, or if the round's going to be played out. We'll have to wait for a decision from the admins. But that round, as it stood, was a 4v4 about midway point through the round on round number 2 on Border.
Yeah, it's magic.
You know it. Never believe it's not so.
I can't believe it's not magic. Should be something on a can you can purchase at Rainbow Six event. Literally making money. We're bankrolling this whole operation. Let's be honest. With that said, though, that very first round was pretty impressive from DarkZero. There was no way that they should have control of that game.
No.
The early on, EXG misused their utility, but they found the 2 kills that they needed. They killed the bandit. That was a great ingress for them. They were able to walk into the office, take control of that. They lose the sledge on the entry as the MPX of the Valkyrie just kind of peeks around, gets the kill. No problem. Soft half wall to enter into the office or into archives. Like, okay, let's go in and plant. Too slow. You already lost 2 players on the flank from the Jaeger, 2v2, and then you have a Maestro. Yeah, that's a huge advantage for the defense.
Yeah, and it was a 2v4 for Nyx and BC to work out of, and honestly, it comes down to plant positioning there. Trying to go into the back end side of archives, typical spot would be in behind the bomb. You know, there was already that pre-made rotate on the archives wall as well by the defense of DarkZero. Seemed like there were maybe some easier options to take if you're Excelerate on that round. We have jumped back in, and it does appear...
We're waiting.
We're waiting
on decisions.
It does appear we might get back underway with the game.
Yeah.
We're just going to wait and see what's going on with decisions and stuff back behind the scenes. As far as we know, okay, looks like we're going back in. So
yeah, we didn't even know.
It's a 2-0 lead now currently for DarkZero. Apparently they came away victorious with that ventilation and workshop defense. So now we have to be pushed off to a tertiary bomb site, and that would either be customs and supply room or be bathroom tellers, and DarkZero elect custom supply.
Yeah, for once we won't really be able to talk about the round and really dig into the details of it, because it was a 4v4 and then something happened and DarkZero won. With that said,
props to them.
I'm not sure if the scoreboard would retain the information.
Yeah.
And we took a look at that for a second, Marcio. If we can flash the scoreboard.
That would be server-sided. That wouldn't be.
No?
That wouldn't be client-sided. Yeah, that would hold on.
So Jarvis and Nyx, well, Jarvis mostly did work for that round. There you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because he only had 1 kill in the first round, so he only had 3 there.
Good job, Jarvis. So there you go. DarkZero off the back of Jarvis's work will take round number 2. And now, how are they going to hold on? Actually, they fully they reinforced the hatch in CCTV, so they're going to hold on to this for as long as possible. The big thing about this is that you need to have some sort of control of the armory, and that's exactly what they have in this situation. You can fight in between the 2. Now, how long is BC going to stay alive in this position? That's the real kicker. You also have a hatch to rotate down into the small office. And Crusher's going to waste no time here with the endothermic charge. And what a lot of times will happen is the Buck in this situation will go up and open the top part of it and chuck a grenade to destroy any batteries or whatever that's on the other side and support players. Maybe get a pick off of it, but the operator doesn't even exist. And I know, it's weird to say this, but Buck isn't being played on border because he's banned.
Just a note that I've noticed so far through 1.5 rounds of viewing and 2 rounds of play is that EXG are not swapping up operators whatsoever. They're just bringing the same 5 over and over again for, regardless of situation or bomb site they're attacking. This is now 3 consecutive rounds with these same 5 ops. Like you said, the redundancy between the Thatcher and the IQ. It looks like EXG are trying to play just much more simplistic, not trying to overcomplicate things. It's honestly steering away from some of their Challenger League play back from Season 8, and I wonder if that has anything to do with Pojo. And I wonder if DarkZero is possibly thinking, hey, we had Pojo for 3 years on our team. We probably know what his mindset is heading in with EXG and coaching them. We probably have a way to read him.
But the other side of the coin, Pojo Man was playing on DarkZero just a bit ago. Might know a thing or two about how the team really operates, and should bring some sort of help for EXG to try and move through this matchup in particular. A big thing is that'll be a big problem for DarkZero, but so far they're really not having much of a problem. As I say that, Nyx will go down. Thomas will open fire onto the Alibi Prisma in the back, but the Thermite has already done the work on the bottom floor. Should be able to enter in, and yeah, Crusher from behind. There's literally nobody watching the flank. Everybody's diving down the hatches. Bio will find one more. A peek out from Jarvis will get 1 kill, but 4v2 in solo and HP. BC on the Maestro, even him might not be able to do this as the last 2 players are still upstairs in CCTV. And the plant has to go down. The Bailiff has already been used to open up an extra hole, but Schlongy will take down Jarvis, last man alive. It's BC, and nobody's presenting a single angle. No one's gonna peek this position, and BC knows it. Is he gonna drop? Yes, he will, and how many angles will he have to go through? There's one watching the side. He'll find the headshot onto Bio. Thatcher eliminated. 3 more to go. There's one right behind the scanner. He'll find the headshot of achieved. On the opposite side, though, it's Crusher to peek around the beepers and find BC. A valiant effort, but just not great enough in this situation. You're diving down the hatch. There's not really many angles for you to play for. And Accelerate will take 1 round and put it on the board. Not bad.
Yeah, EXG able to bring back a response. And now this will afford DarkZero the opportunity to rotate back to Armory Lockers and Archives, primary bomb site of almost every single team on the planet on border. My thing with EXG here is 4th consecutive round now. We are not swapping operators. And we talked about in the pregame. Oh, finally. There we go. Bio's going to 6-pick, okay, for 2 and Ash. So we are staying very simple here. We are playing back to basics here for EXG. We talked about in the pregame little lead-in that there were a lot of operators on the attacking side that weren't banned out that could do a lot of damage on a map like Border and really swing the tide back in your favor. I'm not really too worried about EXG, though, considering this is almost the same game script we went through with them against Rogue the first week back from the break for SI, which was they surrendered the first 3 rounds. EXG did to Rogue on Border. Took them a little bit to wake up. They level things at 3-3 heading into the half, and then their second half didn't play out as well as they would have thought or would have hoped it would have. So I think this is just a case of EXG taking a little bit of time to warm up. And better to do it in round 3 than in round 4. Again, they had the massive man advantage the last time they attacked this bomb site. I don't see why they can't execute a little bit cleaner. Maybe have a little better luck stun locking that bandit, hot and cold, playing on trip wall. Smooth some things out here, and I think EXG takes this round and we go back into a level score, 2-2, heading into round 5.
Up and running.
See if Jarvis can actually use those Valkyrie cameras for an effective kill. He's done some damage before on these peaks, but not enough to get a full kill off of it. Obviously, those first engages are just, they're very, how do you say, they're very ballsy, and there you go, hot and cold. Oh man, what an angle. Oh, what is that?
Well, there goes your ability to stun lock the bandit, and that's your...
He stun locked you.
That's honestly one of your better performing players on the entire team taking out in. You've also 6-picked off the Thatcher to the Ash, so all you've got is frag grenades now.
And honestly, I like that change. It's just, when you lose the Zofia,
it complicates things.
Yes, indeed. But you can still take care of the bandit batteries from below, and that's what Bio is going to try to do from here. And this is what I was talking about with the whole redundancy. Sure, the 5.52 is great, but if you can just kill people, that's, you know, maybe even better in that situation. It really does depend. And the wall is already open. No problem whatsoever for EXG in this. Well, at least push Hot and Cold back, but Jarvis has that small hole to use. A lot of times you'll see Smokes playing in that position. That at least what happens in EU and in Latin America. Even if you look at EU Challenger League.
I don't think Crusher clocked that. Houghton made it all the way into Fountain. He's going to bandit the wall, and again, I don't take a keen eye to spot that out. They're trying to disable the Evil Eye, but a Nitro Cell goes soaring out and will claim the life of Bio. Just miscommunications on the side of EXG allow Hot and Cold the perfect entryway he needs to claim another victim. That's 2 in a row for him, now 3! Trying to go for 4 and behind the radio desk. Takes a little bit of damage, but will back off. Prepping a frag grenade and launching it in. 75 health still remaining on Hot and Cold. He darts out, 25 remaining, lighting up everyone. Finally, it's EXG's achieved to fall, but Jarvis and Nyx top in for 2. Good response there. And again, missed tiny movements for EXG on that one. Hot and Cold allowed the perfect opportunity to come in and strike. Unfortunate
that EXG just kind of tried to push him out of that position. And I really think that if it weren't for the fact, at least looking at the performance here, if it weren't for the fact that that third site that was played was downstairs in the security, there just would have been no way for the score to get to 3-1. This is just complete control from DarkZero, and EXG just cannot find a single footing in this. Oh yeah, sure. Now we brought the Ash. We don't have to deal about the Bandit. We don't have that extra redundancy. We'll get a bit more firepower, sure, but man, now this is problematic because you don't have the firepower of the Zofia because you got sniped literally in the first second of the round. It's these sorts of things that DarkZero are doing with those runouts, as I mentioned in the previous round. If those are successful, they have such a huge morale effect on your opponents, and it just propels you. You're more likely to win the round. I actually would like to see this statistic if it does exist. So if Splek is listening to this, please do have a statistic of rounds that have been won by the defense after successful spawn peaks. I just want to see that percentage. Very interesting.
That'd be a lot of man hours to go through and catch that. I'd be shocked.
Literally all he has.
So again, Thomas is going to take chances, heading out onto that valley spawn and pre-firing open the window, but it's a little safer angle this time. You know, the shots rattling out as Hot and Cold is swapped over to a dock this time, so opting to bring an ACOG in this engagement, and he'll find another one. 6 feet under will achieve go, and there goes your sledge and your frag grenades that were crucial in pushing Hot and Cold out of his position in Fountain last time around. So again, Hot and Cold appears to be given free reign top floor, and DarkZero start off hot within the first 30 seconds.
Best thing about Nyx's position here is that he does not have to worry about anybody coming in from the side of the hallway. There's 2 reinforcements that have been deployed into it. Still gonna peek around, more damage to, or at least fire being set in from the side, and Nyx, he'll find one instantly down and taken away by Schlongy. Quick ingress here from the IQ. Will it be enough? Crusher watching the hallway just for rotations. That's really the big bonus of running the double reinforcements into the hallway from the cafeteria, and I absolutely love that sort of style of defense. Bio kind of startled there in the goo mines, but Crusher will find one on Jarvis. No more on these pesky mines to worry about, but as he takes it away, Hot and Cold is just going to find a free kill on Bio and now rotate into CCTV, awaiting potentially one of his opponents to move in close to him. We'll find the third man in the back, and that's the diffuser. Great play here from Hot and Cold. Schlongy on the AQ. Taking a bit of damage, will pick up the diffuser, but has to take the mine out of the feet. It's gotta hurt. I'm gonna drop through the hatch, and that's heard. Mint will just miss every single round. Schlongy now turning it into a 1v2, but a quick shot from BC finishes him off. DarkZero, yet another round on the board.
So again, it's Hot and Cold and his individual efforts upstairs, and honestly the inability for Excelerate to be able to lock down one member of DarkZero, isolate him, and make sure that you're winning either your 1v1s or your 2v1s. That's a scenario in which also timing becomes crucial. Schlongy, milliseconds late to killing Nyx, could have been the saving grace for his teammate, but nonetheless. Thomas, was felt in that main hallway by Nyx through those bullet holes, and nanoseconds, man. It's the timing in this game, and it seems like Excelerate just don't have their timings down. Another 6 pick for Bio off the Thatcher onto the Ash, so again, we remain static on the lineup of EXG, while a very fluid operator choice from DarkZero constantly, round after round. They now head back to Customs and Supply Room. They've done a round trip on these 3 bomb sites, and then I'll go back to Customs and Supply Room for the second time. The only round they lost in this game so far. I'd be very shocked to see if DarkZero elect to reinforce that Customs hatch again from CCTV. As Excelerate really focused on just pivoting into the objective immediately. Within 10 seconds, Crusher's blowing up detention. You've got guys pushing in from main hallway and passport check. There was zero emphasis placed on pushing upstairs and clearing that out. They knew that the hatch was going to be reinforced. They take site control. There's no easy retake. They hold all the flanks down. You saw the flank hold from inside of Workshop on the typical rotation to vent, watching server hatch. Like the setup for EXG was perfect on that round, and they do reinforce the hatch again.
But this is what I like from DarkZero. I believe this is how they're thinking about it. They're like, okay, they switched away from the Thatcher. What had happened before is that they didn't bring the Bandit. The Thatcher was brought just in case from EXG, but they didn't even need him because the Thermite just opened up detention and went in. That flank was left completely open, and you couldn't have any players playing inside of the site securely the whole time because the wall was opened up so early in the round. However, with this change, now you can actually play CCTV as more of a supporting position and then drop down into the office without really having to worry about flanks being completely open or losing manpower for no reason on the bottom floor. And it's those sort of small details, thinking ahead from DarkZero, but also kind of predicting and playing ball with EXG.
So again, hot and cold, we're playing upstairs, this time with an ACOG, just on a different French operator, and again, he finds multiple targets to track inside of offices. This time, Schlong will use that electronics detector and find the same Valkyrie camera that was spotting out the majority of his teammates in the main hallway last time around. Schlongy trying to push in and grab some fountain control. Houghton right now the prime target for Excelerate. He's been the man that's been the most pain in the side for Excelerate. Electronic sensor through the wall. I think BC's behind the reinforcement, so he's safe for now as he's watching the cameras, and as the sledge comes out, Jarvis takes a lot of damage and has to retreat, and finally the kill will be collected, but Mint on an immediate trade onto Schlongy.
All right, you lose the IQ in this situation for the Valkyrie, a pretty even trade. The big thing, though, for the defense is losing out on the C4. That would be great to support Nyx in this position. Mint can, from below, provide a bit more support. If you only knew. And he had an enemy so close to him, but achieved will find hot and cold. Finally, he'll get one, but the refract from Nyx, perfectly done. Can't get the drone, but it'll rotate back safely with the support of BC, their teammates, watching the Maestro cameras set upstairs. Bio is still unscathed, but not really much room to maneuver. You already saw the drop coming down into the office downstairs. BC just still watching out. Nyx taking damage from the top floors. Holes have been opened up. I believe they're using the same holes that have been opened up by the defenders themselves, and Bio is going to continue to use his breaching round. Just have as big of an angle as possible, but the problem now is that Maestro camera is going to still be up, and the defense will know exactly where EXG is.
Crusher's going to opt to open up the CCTV hatch as stuns from the lifeline will rain out and disorient Mint inside of the supply room. Crusher twisting, not really sure where to go right now, but the Evil Eye will have perfect purview behind Nyx as BC tries to lock down the hallway with the Alda, turning his attention away for a split second, and this might allow EXG to rush in, but Mint collects 2. Bio in the immediate trade, but Diffuser surrendered inside a supply room. Still upstairs, Bio will drop the CC hatch as BC turns away at the most inopportune timing. Flixen turns in behind the security detectors, turning to the corner, there's no time left. Collects the kill onto Nyx, but it's DarkZero coming away victorious and head into the half. 5-1 advantage on border. EXG letting this one slowly slip away through their fingers one round at a time.
That's the problem now. 5-1 at the half, DarkZero in complete control. I'm really curious to see how DarkZero run their attack, at least looking at their operator builds, because of how rigid things were on EXG. The only really major change they had was moving away from the Thatcher to the Ash, right?
Yep.
Maybe there would have been better things or different things for them to use in that situation. In general, it's just DarkZero being able to kind of roam around and adapt to their opponents. You saw the first unsuccessful hold that they had downstairs in customs. Well, they changed it around. They see that EXG changed their operator lineup, and what does DarkZero do? They do the same. They make sure that their flank is locked down completely. These small adaptations end up having massive implications on the round. From a 3v1 or 4v1 at the end of the round to basically complete control on your side, 3v1 for the defense. These small things really end up having a big effect. Same double reinforcement with the bulletproof camera being brought up by the Doc Schlongi. It's another one of those big reasons of why we want to bring the Doc. And again, the alibi. The operator can bring a decent chunk to the table, but it really does depend on how you end up playing her. I'm kind of intrigued because there's quite a few things that you can do with her achieved with a, I'm not sure about the peak, but there you go. At least we'll verify his cameras and make sure they're up and ready to spot DarkZero moving into the map.
Looks like Mint has spotted out that balcony camera nice and early over by the default camera pole. So we've seen a game like this. Well, I mean, we've seen the first half of a game like this quite recently. It was Rogue versus SSG on this very map on Border a few weeks ago, in which it was Rogue that went up 5-1 on Border. Swapped the second half, and it's SSG who come back with a 5-1 half of their own, are able to draw back a game that looked like it was going to be an instant loss. So EXG, while they are back against the wall right now, they're on the verge of losing the availability of 3 points. And EXG DarkZero 1 round away from clinching at least 1 point in the contest. And very different operator selections, not even electing to bring the Thermite, only electing to bring the Hibana. But this soft wall on Armory Wall will be nice and easy to open up there for Nyx with the remote detonation. He's able to land a shot onto the shoulder of Bio, and Schlongi overheals himself, I imagine anticipating some sort of engagement. Yeah, he's peeking all the way from behind the printer inside of offices. Another stretch out here from Bio. He's going to go prone behind the half wall. He's waiting for a harder angle to be held from Nyx.
Now Nyx, oddly enough, running the G36 with the ACOG. A few players have done that. We've seen it in Europe. We've seen it also with Rampy, for example, with Space Station. And it's done a decent chunk of work. It just really does depend on how you would like to play this. Actually, you see the 2 Prismas that have been set inside, and DarkZero kind of ready for a rush, I want to say. Are there any reinforcements being played here? They'll move in. All 3 Prismas are actually set in CCTV. So great clear here from DarkZero without needing to use too much utility, but that's at least one smoke that used, and achieved from below, again hitting the C4 so well. But now, point of view into Fountain, nothing being found. And Nyx will just open up the side of the wall into the armory. Completely left soft by the defense. Now drones are coming out to try and scout things out. A bit too late as we hit the 45-second mark. The round is nearing its end. The EMPs are being thrown everywhere. Mint will find achieved. At least that's one of the flanks you won't have to worry about anymore.
It's going to have to be a swift plant attempt here. It's hot and cold planning right in the purview of the door. A wide peak coming out, but BC winning it out on 3 HP. But Crusher through the wall with a shotgun will drop hot and stop the plant attempt. Nyx having to rotate over. Diffuser recollected. A wide peak from Thomas. Will be able to drop BC with the MX4. Repels upside down to the windows as Nyx charges through the breach, taking down 1, but can't land enough to drop Schlongi, another member of EXG, down to 5 HP. Bio cleans it up onto Mint, and DarkZero, their reign of terror put to a momentary halt as EXG draw 1 back. It's still a 5-2 scoreline. But we saw a defensive half in the first half on the side of DarkZero. Could it be the same for EXG?
We'll see if the trend continues here. DarkZero need to secure themselves at least the 6 rounds. I'll guarantee them a point at the end of the day. At least to try and stifle EG. They're holding on to the first or second place. Obviously, each one of them will get you to land. But on top of that, you're also looking for the highest seed possible. I mean, we're looking at if you're the second seed, you might be facing Team Empire. You know, but these are some of the things that you really want to make the chance of them happening as minimal as possible. So you kind of have to put them into the back of your head in consideration. But DarkZero will have to attack the workshop. And what are they bringing for the change? The Capital. That's really the big one. Otherwise, we'll see similar lineups to what they had before. EXG still on the dock. A very vanilla lineup. If you look at all the operators, if you're confused, this was pretty much what was run back when this map was introduced back in the day. But it works, and that's the big deal about it. Though, Valkyrie's been pretty important, and not only doing the work with the Nitro Cell, but the camera collection, the information being collected by the cameras is also very key. Both teams have been able to kind of do quite a bit of work with it, right, Phil?
Yeah, and I mean, that's achieved in a nutshell, honestly, and it's his C4 play that really is so signature.
I don't know if you remember the one where it's like 3 C4s used, 3 kills in a row. Like, it was absolutely beautiful. EXG playing on border specifically. It was beautiful to watch that coordination.
And that's honestly, that's their team in a nutshell as well. They love utilizing the lethality at range from those Nitro Cells. It's a topic that Ranger actually touched on in the interview, actually, after the game that we just talked about there, which was the Rogue and EXG game on border, in which Tristan said that it might be a little predictable at times, and it's not as reliable as well. You can't always bank on it garnering you 2 kills, but hey man, EXG still find a way to make it work. It seems like they've tailed off a little bit of how much they depend on those Nitro Cells since Pojo's come over, so I think an alteration of strategies and, again, streamlining things. It seems like EXG are really just trying to go back to basics for a while until they figure everything out with Pojo.
Here the X-Kairos going off in the back. DarkZero kind of made themselves an extra way in. And that's now Nyx coming in from below through jail into customs area. Achieved will try to combat that in just a bit once they butt heads. I wonder if there's going to be a drone to help him out. That'll be him droning for himself, which is not always a great position to be in. He's going to be able to spot the Valk in the back. No, she ran away at the last second, so won't be able to spot Achieved. Yeah, he's just going to play in the back by the toilets. Schlongi will continue to watch the cameras downstairs. DarkZero kind of taking their time, but they need this because this is allowing their top-tier fraggers to kind of put themselves in better positions, not only to set up kills, but also to set up their utility before entering the site itself.
It's a little concerning for me seeing DarkZero move so slowly on the attacking side. Obviously, you have 3 minutes, might as well use them all, but we're talking about site executes and conversions coming in with the dying 30 seconds of the round, with a lot of members of the defense on EXG still alive. Bio is going to keep quick peeking these kill holes on the side of the workshop wall until Mint turns the corner and tries to put an end to it. You've also got Nyx inside a supply room, staring down the barrel of Crusher, who's now been overhealed himself. There's been a lot of reliance on those Doc Stim pistols, and Achieve will cut through Mint as he tries to turn the corner. Nyx, though, in a trade at the server door, goes for 2. This is G36 cutting through, and there's another one for Nyx. He's got a 4th one at his doorstep, but Thomas will decapitate him. A plant going down by Hot and Cold, and now as the asphyxiating bolts are out, Thomas, finally Hot and Cold will have to pull off the plant to acquire the kill, but a Nitro Cell onto the castle barricade and a rotate coming out from Achieved, and a 1v3 in the dying moments of the round yet again for DarkZero, and still no plant to town coming out until just now. Turning the rotate, though, BC from above will be able to shut it down in its tracks, and Achieve will fall. EXG surrender the possibility for a win, and DarkZero guaranteeing himself another point in this fantastic season they're having.
Just G36, R4C doesn't matter. As long as you put yourself in good positions, and as long as you're as good a player as we just saw with those peaks from Nyx, yeah, it doesn't matter what he has in his hand. 6-2 to guarantee 1 point at the end of the play day minimum for DarkZero. They're kind of making quick work of Excelerate.
Yeah, this is a very different Excelerate that than we saw a couple weeks ago in their game against Reciprocity. It feels like DarkZero just aren't falling into the same bait trap that Excelerate were setting for Reciprocity in that game, where it was Reciprocity were getting quite antsy, and they were taking gunfights, and all honesty, they probably shouldn't have. If you manage to lose the majority of the rounds on the defensive side on Clubhouse, something's clearly going wrong, and Excelerate were able to take full advantage of it in that game. DarkZero, though, in this game, they're not making any of those mistakes. They're playing pretty flawlessly. Honestly, their defensive halves were a masterpiece. Their attacking sides, they come down to the wire. They are nail biters, but they're still able to convert. And it comes down to those little 1v1 scenarios. And honestly, Nyx in that round, a huge catalyst.
Well, see how we actually try to play against this one. They're going to go back to ventilations, as we saw in the previous round. Same setup, and even counting the black eye positioning there, as you saw. Chief setting up, and also had in the previous round. Schlongi watching it for most of the time as well, allowing him to move around it. The odd thing is that, I say odd, but it really just is an odd thing specifically for Schlongi, because a lot of times you'll see him playing the role of the Jaeger, right? But none of that is being run at all by the defense here. Mostly because maybe they're not really worried about grenade play to come out from DarkZero, just because, oh, Buck's not here. DarkZero don't really run the sledge as much as the Buck. It's good. You want to kind of make use of whatever extra operators you can have, eliminate some of the redundancy. But Mint is going to come in, set up one of his air jabs that have been actually proven to be quite effective, I want to say. So.
Yeah, it's an alteration to the DarkZero lineup that we haven't really seen so far, which is, you know, we still saw Jarvis swapping up from the Jacket to the Capital, which was changing up your smoke operator. And obviously, these fixating bolts did a little bit of work last time on Thomas inside of ventilation, but now this is a secondary swap to an all-new operator with a different utility, and a pre-fire peek there from Thomas as he stretches out from behind the half wall to evade those asphyxiating bolts coming in and pushing him out of his position. He's able to collect the kill into Hot and Cold, but not before Hot and is able to detonate some X-Kairos pellets onto the wall. Jarvis, though, trade onto Thomas, but Schlongi peeking out again. Aggressive angles and aggressive stances being taken by the majority of Excelerate, and they're winning out a lot of their gunfights here.
2 players away, one of them your only hard breacher. Damage has been done, though. You have the extra angle that you can now use to watch into Armory, so that's a big deal for DarkZero. BC also has a perfect position through the other angle that was opened up already by the X-Kairos to look all the way down into the office. Mint's going to take his time to kind of move in from below, and there's still quite a bit of time on the clock. He's going to set those up for air jabs. It's going to be great if you can hold down the east stairs so you don't have to worry about flanks once you get down to business. Jarvis is going to move in. Soft wall on the side. There's also a breach charge going to be set up here from the Thatcher. Kill from Schlongi, though, very, very quick, and Jarvis will miss the hit on the Bandit as he peeks away. C4 thrown right into Jarvis will connect. And Mint now all on his own downstairs. Here's the Valkyrie above, and you see her face!
Okay, well, it's not going to last very long as Achieve will finally lock it down from the balcony, but hey, you never know. It might have been an aspect ratio issue on his client side. Might have been, I don't know. Positioning of heads should be pretty universal, but maybe there's an aspect ratio issue there.
Interesting thing, you touched on the Nomad drum.
Yeah.
In this second half, which is the only time that you had Nomad available.
Yep.
In any one of those DarkZero games, it's only been banned once.
Okay.
So DarkZero kind of been warming up to it.
Well, I think when you see DarkZero and you have the option to ban an attacker, your first thought is, oh my god, don't let me play them with a shield.
Yes, I clearly agree.
Kind of understandable how Nomad slipped through the cracks there. No shield being banned out in this game either. Accelerate banned the Ying. Hey, we just talked about shields in DarkZero. Hey, speak of the devil.
That's usually what happens. Like, okay, we're frustrated. We don't know what to do. Let's bring out our shield. And that's fair enough. With the shield play, you need to kind of clear out the top floor, or, well, clear out the bottom floor for your top floor attack, which is exactly what's going to happen here because you're the Armory. If you don't kill the Valkyrie downstairs or the Bandit, whoever is roaming or has C4s, you're going to have a bad time.
Well, I think that this Montaigne coming out from Mint is a direct response to the last round that EXG just had, in which they stood and fought and took every single gunfight imaginable, and they won like 90% of them, which was pretty impressive, honestly. They got very aggressive and took peaks that caught DarkZero quite off guard. I think this Monty is honestly meant to be a bullet sponge and say, yeah, okay, you can play the aggressive game, but you're not getting a pick on us. And now you got to peel back and play more reserved and play more strategic, and that's what we'll get you. Because it's DarkZero coming out with the late round, honestly. And a lot of these rounds, whether it's been on their defensive side or on the attacking side, last minute is where their strategic mindset comes into play, and they can roll on you.
Schlongi on the Jaeger. I mentioned that he wasn't really playing the op, but there you go. Usually doing quite a bit of damage, actually. You really have to fear Schlongi the operator in general, but his flank play and the way that he maneuvers around. Sometimes it's hit or miss. You know, it's just sometimes it fails spectacularly, and sometimes it collects a 3K that wins you the whole round. It's been actually leaning more towards winning than messing things up recently.
He's got the new skin on. I love it. I love all
Don't
the
shoot my papillon.
I was hoping we'd see more of those Rainbow as Magic cosmetics. And oh
Yes.
no, Thomas caught out in a very precarious situation there as he's actively bandit tricking. And Mint just kind of walks in and says, hey, what's up, bud?
Imagine this, like just Monty shows up, it's like, bonjour. And then just, what are you going to do? You just have a smoke to play against him, sure. The smoke in that position is just going to be used to either clip through the wall or just with the holes that are opened up. There you go. That should be more than enough to do some damage. But he can't really do anything against him. And yeah, it's like a nuclear deterrent. He's just there.
Well, there it is. Bio and Thomas were both taking aggressive angles in towards Mint, but he's full shielding. He does not really care how many magazines you dump at him. Not really going to make much of a difference, and he did his job in forcing Thomas off the wall long enough for Hot and Cold to open it. So now DarkZero getting much faster on their take.
What's the problem, though, Robert? Nobody has cleared out the bottom floor. And I fear that C4 play is going to be a big deal the deeper we get into this round. And that Monty's going to fade away real fast. And I think that's what BC is going to try to do here now that the job of Thatcher has already been done. Just to clear the bottom floor, make sure that he has control. And he'll hear the impact grenade being used up by Achieved but as he runs away. But they know that the Vigil are in play. They know that there's still a Valkyrie here. C4 from Thomas has already been used, if I'm not mistaken. At least chucked out. Gonna try to go for the plant here, but a soft wall on the side is gonna block Hot and Cold for just a bit, and they actually spot the bandit playing from inside there. Smokes, and there you go, 2 bolts out. Smoke will do a bit of damage, and will push one player back, but Hot and Cold and Nyx will find a kill each. Achieved one on a BC. The flank play from the Vigil. Diffuser's still not set, but actually will go down. Well done by the Monty. Jarvis, beautiful taps on the pair of 308, leaving only 2 alive. It's Bio and Achieved, and a quick shot from Nyx, shutting down the rotations. Bio will come in for a kill with the MPX, but so little HP is left, and Nyx is coming around the flank. He'll have to worry about 3 players, including a Monty. Hot and Cold cleans up Bio, and that's all she wrote. DarkZero will take round number 10 and the entire matchup and go up yet another 3 points up on the board, closer and closer to qualifying to Milan. The first time DarkZero would ever make it to LAN, and in this lineup. It's been a while.
Yeah, I was going to say, as that lineup, they have made other lands before.
Yeah, it was Flipside, and that was so long ago, and that was specifically Year 2, Season 1, my first ever season finals, and I remember the as described by Ranger back then, the NA loser bus, because it also included...
Yeah, everyone got deleted.
Yeah, and it also included Sisu, so like ENS,
Yeah.
Mouse Sports now, which is...
Because that land for NA was Elevate, F3, and whatever Rogue was at the time, right?
What? Yeah, and
I
King
think
George
so.
played back then.
Yes. Did.
Are they vertical?
Yeah, they were VG, Vertical Gaming. That's what it was.
I think I have the notes still somewhere.
Maybe.
I'm not
Anyway,
kidding.
we're delving into the history books there for no apparent reason. Another 7-3 loss for EXG on board, this time at the hands of another North American Titan in DarkZero, who they are known as today. It's another strong win and a strong performance for EXG. You know, they played the patient game on the attacks, and it got me a little worried there in the latter portions of some of the rounds there on their attacks.
I think it's just wearing 3 hoodies.
It's just the hoodies?
With all the studio lights.
I'm overheating. I'm actually overheating, though. Like, it's not okay.
How much thermal paste did you put on yourself before coming here?
Not enough. Not enough. I'll tell you that much. It's actually, like, I'm sweating through everything.
These week arms are heavy, man.
DarkZero extend their lead, though. First place still. Now 23 points in the standings as we inch closer to Milan. There are 3 play days remaining for DarkZero.
Yeah, and what's left? I mean, you look at it. There's
2.
DarkZero have
week 13 off.
2. Yes, they still have next week, week 12. They play EG, which actually that game might decide the whole thing. As I said, week 12 is going to be a doozy, and then they actually get to play on the very final week at Rise. So no matter what, Rogue wouldn't be able to play on week 14. They're actually not scheduled to do it. They have the bye of that week. But DarkZero would be able to, and their game number 2, Reciprocity, is the last one against SSG, and EG plays EXG on the very first game. So technically, both EG and DarkZero should, in theory, have an easier time in that matchup to solidify their chances of going to Milan, which means Reciprocity really has to step it up because they only have 2 more play days to go. They're not playing next week. They're playing week 13 and week 14, and Reciprocity plays AG and Space Station. Yeah, just to put it into perspective, it's that crazy. With that said, Nix is ready with us on call, so let's have a quick chat with him. Evening, Nix. Congratulations on your matchup, but you're back. DarkZero not too far away from Milan. Question, though, specifically for this matchup. With Pojaman having gone to EXG as a coach, were you kind of just thinking, hey, maybe this might have a negative effect on us coming into the game in preparation for EXG?
Definitely. Pojo going to EXG wasn't something that we were expecting, obviously. We definitely did prep work knowing that Pojo Man was over there because he knew a lot of the stuff that we did on border, so we made a lot of changes to the map. We made a lot of adaptations to our attacks, our defenses, things like that. So to keep it fresh, and EXG didn't really seem to know like what we were running in that game, so I think it worked out well for us.
Another thing that Flynn and I were touching upon quite a few times is on the 3rd round on the defensive side for you guys, you went down to customs. The setup, I don't believe, had a bandit in that very specific round. You know, with Buck being banned out, the Thermite was also in play from the attackers. They also had the Thatcher just in case there was a bandit being played there. And the Thermite just kind of opened up jail and had a flank completely open for him. And because you reinforced that hatch up in CCTV, the rotations were kind of botched, I guess, in that situation. Were you expecting the adaptation from EXG to happen for the next time you got to play the round? Or was it just you looking at their lineup as it changed from the Thatcher to the Ash to run the Bandit and still reinforce that hatch in CCTV?
So the first time that we ran that setup, we definitely got caught off guard because like you said, our rotations were poor. They cut off all our angles, things like that. So the next time we went there, Mint made a call. He's like, hey, I'm just going to take the Bandit here and maybe slow down their presence on site. And I think Hot got a few picks upstairs that really helped us. And then Mint on the Bandit in sight definitely slowed them down. So making that adaptation was just so that we could have more site pressure and just basically not give them full map control and allow us to move around, make good rotates and help each other effectively.
And a final question, you were down to that 4v2, I believe in the very first round, defense and armory. Talk me through the communication and what was happening here to try to kind of put everything into perspective, because you were playing on the metal stairs, the main stairs. You got 2 kills off of it, rotated away into the office, and suddenly it went down from a 4v2 to a 2v2. It was very winnable with the Maestro being played by BC in the half wall.
Yeah, definitely. The comms that round were actually really good. Hot and Cold ended up dropping Teller's hatch and getting picked off by their Thatcher who was holding for him. So we knew that their Thatcher was downstairs. Jarvis actually had a Vault Cam inside Workshop that gave us vision on the Thatcher. Hot and Cold made a call for that. I peeked him, killed him, and then we also had another cam top metal to see the IQ. I came up, killed the IQ top metal, and we knew the last 2 were by dome side and AC, which gave me full pressure to go ahead and flank. Just really good calls on where the enemies were, giving me the information I needed to make plays off of it, and I took the map control that they weren't holding, and me and Brandon played it really well. So
it's very good adaptability and just being able to make those big decisions on the fly and play their long game rotate, because Brandon or BC in that situation can just kind of hold things down until you come in from the side. And that was all the lockdown that you needed for that round. Again, a pretty valiant effort from EXG. Some of their plays were fairly impressive, specifically with the C4 play, as they are very well known for. But you guys advance, get 3 more points, get closer to Milan. Next week, you're still playing. You're playing against Evil Geniuses, and both of you are in the top running for that. How's the preparation going to be like, specifically mentally, for that matchup over the next week?
We're just going to keep going and doing the same things that we do every week. EG is definitely a tough opponent, but we're going to take it the same way that we take any team, prepare the same way, and hopefully come out and play a good game. So,
quite a bit of border gameplay for you to watch from EG, specifically with their matches versus Rogue, to kind of prepare over that and see what might happen. Well, we've yet to see what map they play against Rise. That's their upcoming matchup. But with that said, anything you'd like to say to the fans at the end of this victorious day?
Just thank you to all our supporters. We're definitely grinding to make sure we can get that land spot secured. And thank you for everyone that's just always been with us since day one, and even new supporters that came in and support us daily. We all appreciate the love and support, and we just hope to keep playing well for you guys. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much, Nix. Congratulations again. We'll see you next week as DarkZero takes on Evil Geniuses. Good night.
Thanks, Milosh.